Hey, 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 everybody.
It's Fat Albert.
It's Fat Albert.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Is that a Fat Albert thing or is that a Bill Cosby thing? What did Bill Cosby do? Wasn't he like, hey, hey, hey? Isn't it something like that?
maybe I'm okay. Wait, if it's Bill Cosby,
No,
I
I think
retract
it's
that statement.
I think it's, no, I'm pretty sure you're right. I think it's Fat Albert, but it made me think of that because Bill fucking Cosby is free off of a technicality.
Yeah, what is
Like,
what
let's
is
just
that
get the
about?
ball
Like,
rolling. Like, literally, he just has a really good legal team, I guess, that saw a technicality and like got him off on. Like, the world asked to free Britney, and they said, "Here's Bill Cosby." Like,
But it's weird because he had already been in prison for like a few years. Like I would have thought,
yeah,
hadn't he been in prison for like a few years at this point? Like I would have thought that if they were going to find this technicality, they would have done it a lot sooner.
I need to know the judge that let that motherfucker free and the one that wouldn't let Britney be released of her freaking what's it called? Her conservatorship.
Dude, it's so fucked. Did you see that Kim Kardashian is trying to like get on that and trying to like help out with that?
But she should. I feel like more people should be like
Kim can.
Exactly.
But I will say that the judge's ruling was based off of things previous to her testimony. So there's supposed to be another ruling that's taking her testimony into account.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But to me, in like that sense, I'm like, she needs to be free as soon as possible, kind of thing.
It was
you know,
I think it was a ruling from like a previous petition, and then she testified, and so it was like a ruling based off of like information before her testimony. It was just like really bad timing considering she had just came out with all of this stuff. So I'm hoping that the next ruling, which is going to obviously take what she said into like very much like heavy consideration. I hope that obviously that, because I don't know. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. I think if
her testimony was heartbreaking.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If someone comes out and says this stuff and you're still just gonna like turn a blind eye and be like, no, we're just gonna keep this going.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't understand, regardless of if it was from something prior. Like, I know there's a legal system, I get it, but I'm just like, I feel like there are things that should be like halted immediately, especially if someone's been controlled for like 13 years of their life, and especially when it's like regarding her health, her like decisions, her relationships. I don't get it, but I did see
even
that
controlling like her birth control situation.
Like are you kidding me? That is
what? Like, she's not like,
what? She had a rough time, yes, but that does not deem her like,
only because of like how the media and how everybody portrayed her and made her feel. Like, it's literally I don't know, it's no fault to her own of why she spiraled or why she acted in ways that she acted.
You know what I saw today was that her court appointed attorney is looking to be released from he like doesn't want to represent her anymore. He wanted to resign. That's what it was. Why? After 13 years, he wanted to resign. I'm sure it's probably because of all the backlash she's getting from everyone. That entire team that like runs her conservatorship with her dad, apparently a lot of them are trying to like jump ship because everyone in the world knows now. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows what you've been doing. Like,
because I guess everyone like on quote unquote her side is like not really even been on her side. Like, her family, like, okay, I want to get into talking about like Jamie Lynn.
Yeah,
but
please.
Like, did you guys see her like half-ass like Instagram story like thing? It was so bizarre, and she was basically just like, I've known my sister for a very long time, and I know my sister better than anyone. And I'm like, dude, you have her locked up in a jail cell essentially, and she's screaming to get out. And it's like, did you guys see the Wendy Williams thing when she was like, death to all of them?
I did. That honestly was really funny.
I also just think that like Jamie Lynn's response was really kind of poking fun and trying to make the situation way more lighthearted than it obviously is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she compared it. She had like an analogy in there that was so out of pocket and just like really honestly insulting that I was just like, dude, you sound really ignorant right now. And like, this is your family.
All I'm saying is
she was almost like being like, you guys are dumb. You don't know what's going on. And like,
yeah, like I think it was just like really belittling.
I honestly hope that after this entire situation is laid to rest, I hope Britney comes in with the troops in the back and takes every single one of them down, because I feel like that was just so sickening, you guys. Like, nobody does that to a normal person. Like, and I honestly didn't know the severity of it until obviously all of like the documentaries came out and like all of the leaked audio. And I was like, how has everyone been so like naive, you know? How has everyone just been walking by?
Now coming to fruition where everybody's finding out, you know, it's been going on for this, you know, over a decade. Like, what's been going on? What's been happening? I don't know. A lot of fucked up things have been going on.
Nothing, you're good.
Oh, I wanted to talk a little bit about like the Olympics. I saw one of you guys wrote down Skims for the Olympics.
So, we have a lot more to talk about regarding the Olympics for starters.
Yeah.
In general,
let's about Skims.
Let's start off on a light note. I did see that Skims released like a collection exclusively with the Olympics, and Miss Kim has been totally chasing her bag, y'all. I feel like that's the kind of like partnership that's the kind of partnership that everyone wants. Like Nike does.
It's never been done before.
Exactly. Like, especially by like a celebrity like her. Go off. I actually do like the entire collection, and really
you can buy the collection. Yeah, like I really want to buy it. Could not be further from an Olympic athlete myself, but do I want to purchase it all? Yes, of course.
Honestly, I was really, really impressed when I saw the Skims ad, you know, with the Olympics. I was like, holy shit, like Skims is some big time stuff. Like,
I like that it's for, is it the Olympics and the Paralympics? What's like the
Paralympics?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or for the people in like
with disabilities.
Or I guess like handicap. Yeah, like
so she partnered with both, and the campaign featured like athletes with disabilities and without. That's great. Which I think is really cool. Yeah. I always like really condemn, that was the wrong word. I always really
deaf to all of them.
I always really respect all of the Skims campaign. Like, obviously Kim had that very large hiccup when she originally wanted to name it Kimono and then came out with Skims. But all of the campaigns that she does, she always features like a wide variety of models with different body types. Like, and I hate that this is like something where we have to like go out and be like, oh, you're applauded for doing literally what everyone else should be doing. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's just the circumstance that we're in. Although I do think that it's becoming like now more of what it should be, seeing people of different races, people with disabilities, without different body types. She always does a really good job about that, and I'm really glad that it transitioned into her campaign for the Olympics. But it's honestly so cool because this has never been done before. I'm really honestly interested to know like how it came about. Like,
that's what I want to know. I want to know whose like evil genius idea it was, because was it Kim? Was she like, I want the Olympics next? Like, I'm coming for her.
And honestly, I'm always into numbers when it comes to like deals like this. I would be so shook to know like what the price behind all of this is.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like dollar bills. It is really
interesting.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Are you kidding me? Like,
I'm insane. That. Really the only big topic I've seen from the Olympics, I'm going to be honest, I haven't really been keeping up with the Olympics, but everything going on with SHA'CARRI Richardson and how, she got suspended for having weed in her system. And it's just, me and Haley were actually like talking a little bit about this, because it's like, we understand that rules are in place for something like a sporting event or Olympics or whatever. But it's almost like you guys are behind and outdated, and like, look at the facts. Like, even I think it's like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw something that was like, even the NFL has been very like lenient about like weed and stuff, because look, at the end of the day, we all know that weed, it's a plant from the ground. It's used for, medicinal purposes. It's legal in, more places every day. And, it was also legal where she was to smoke it. And, again, I'm going to reiterate, I understand that rules are set in place. You can't have certain drugs in your system for this, but let's update these rules a little bit, because how is it that it's legal for anybody else there to be like smoking weed, but then she does because of a horrible circumstance, which I'll get into in a second. And she gets like suspended because it's like, look, she's not on steroids. This isn't like, the whole thing about it is like, this is not a performance enhancing drug. And she still knocked everyone out of the park.
I saw a lot of people being like, if like weed's like an enhancement kind of drug, like baby girl, like I'd be in the Olympics. Like, hello. Like sorry, but like I smoke a little bit and I'm passed out. Like I'm done.
And like, dude, and this girl is already just like blown everyone away because, she got criticized a lot for like, her hair and nails and makeup and lashes and everything. And it's like, she's like, I don't care. This is who I am. And I'm still going to win. And I'm still going to be the best. And so from what I saw, she heard from a reporter that her biological mother had died, which first of all is awful journalism to break the news like that to someone without checking first that they already know. That is a major, like, I mean, one of the things I literally learned from studying journalism, you do not, like, you got to be careful about that stuff. So she found out that her biological mother had died during an interview, and she's got all this pressure around her to succeed, to be the best. You're in the Olympics. You have to, like, whatever goes on with the Olympics. She smoked a little bit of weed to calm the fuck down, to curb some anxiety, which we've all done before. And in it, I could say the same thing over and over again. I think it's ridiculous that she was suspended for this and, had to face these repercussions from something that so clearly did not affect her performance in the Olympics.
Not at all. And if I'm being quite honest with you, if like, I had no idea, that was how that's what, led to that. That's absolutely so sad. Was that actually true? Did her, oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I also watched it was like an interview. I think, pretty sure it was like the Today Show or someone.
Get out of here.
It was a reporter that I recognized from, at least at one point, was on the Today Show or something like that. And, she was like, what led to this? And SHA'CARRI Richardson was like, she seemed so like just nervous on that interview too. And I felt so bad for her because she knows that, like, according to everyone around her, quote unquote, she fucked up, when in reality, she's like a young girl who got terrible news and coped with it in a perfectly legal way. And
I can't imagine having
so she was just like, she said, I found out from a reporter in an interview that this had happened. And I was like shocked to find out.
Insanity. I can't even imagine having to like do that in front of the entire world, because y'all, as soon as she hit the Olympics, and obviously before, like, she was a big name. However, I didn't know about her because I obviously don't keep up with like tracking, like running like that normally, except for when it's in the Olympics. But when that happened, I will say, I do think that a lot of the celebrities in other sports and in other areas did come up and kind of defend her. And I'm actually really glad more people did that than kind of scorn her, like.
Yeah, I am. I'm also glad to see like kind of the reactions of everyone being like, this is so dumb.
My favorite response was, I believe it was Dwayne Wade, and he had tweeted something saying, I know that like half of y'all are investing in THC companies. I know all of you guys are smoking at the end of the day. Hell, I know all you guys are doing way worse drugs than all of this. And you guys are going to come at her for kicking back a little bit. Like, God forbid. Also, not even just kicking back, just trying to like you said, just calm down. But that's awful. I mean, like literally no one would ever say some shit like that. If I'm being quite honest with you, no one would say anything like that if it weren't some like highly publicized event like this. And honestly, like the people who, oh God, I just like can't believe this is like still, we have to, I know we're all young and everything and that times are changing and everything like that. And some people just have to get on the bus. But in my opinion, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with just adjusting your standards to like what's in now. You know, you can always change it. Change is good. Change is like refreshing. It's good for everyone. I don't get it. I don't get how they could like just eject her from the games. Like you said, Amanda, I know that like there are rules and everything and that they can't just switch it overnight and be like, okay, she can still run. But in my opinion, I don't think it should have been like a penalty anyway.
If anything, I hope this whole situation just kind of brings some more light to all of this, I guess. I don't know if this even needs to be like a big conversation surrounding it, but it's just like,
no, it's just,
you know, so many, I mean, I'm not going to go off on a tangent about this, but so many insane chemical drugs are legal to use and it's no problem. But like weed is for some reason the worst thing on the fucking planet. I don't understand. But anyway, I'm interested to see like what comes out of this, I guess.
I really hope that she kind of takes this and like runs with it and uses this to like
no pun intended.
No, yeah, exactly. That's funny. Okay.
Dude, James Charles is just decided to come back and act like nothing's wrong. Like he did nothing wrong. Are you guys like also disgusted by this? Because I'm like really disgusted.
Personally, I don't care for James Charles ever, especially as of recently, and especially after the last.
Freaks me out, dude.
Yeah, kind of scary. Kind of like I feel like maybe this is like maybe I'm thinking too deep about this, but I do feel like when young people have that much fame, it does get to their head, and it's like sometimes really sad to see. And I do think that he just like is addicted to fame, and I feel like a lot of people his age are, and that's why they keep coming back scandal after scandal. And
dude,
it's like,
he's
when do you ever
sexual
learn?
Predator.
That's what I'm saying.
Like young kids. This is so fucked up. He deleted his first video that was like whatever his taking accountability or whatever the fuck he like, was doing with that video, and then he deleted that, and now he like basically did a makeup tutorial and was like, I did nothing wrong. And it's like, dude, yeah, you did.
That's the issue that I have with it. It's just like the lack of accountability. And I mean, I was never like a diehard James Charles fan. I liked like some of the collabs that he would do and stuff. And I would watch like some of those videos. But for me, like, honestly, and granted, with that being said, I haven't sat down and watched the video through and through, but I've seen like a lot of clips just on social media and stuff of like things that he's said. And to me, it's just honestly, it leaves me like dumbfounded how he just is like so oblivious.
Yeah. Like how do you keep going every day?
Could not be like further removed from the situation. And I understand like at some point, like this is his job, and I'm that's not me saying that I agree with him coming back, but maybe it's more of like monetary motivation. Like he's got to have some way to be making money, not to say that he's struggling, but for me, it's just like the fact that his like one of his first videos was saying he was like, I'm really sorry, but I'm just attracted to younger looking guys. And I was like,
he was basically saying like, it's what I like. I've done nothing wrong. And I'm like, James, you know what? I don't care how he makes his money. He's got to figure that out. Criminals have to figure out what they have to do after whatever. He has faced basically no repercussions after, you know, like eliciting sexual things from underage kids. He's already been through this before. How has he not learned his lesson? He's clearly has some motivation.
People keep paying him. He still like gets partnerships.
Like, he needs to lose his platform.
Yeah, I agree.
Saying like I'm attracted to younger looking guys is the same mentality that pedophiles have. So
literally,
exactly. Yeah. It's called grooming. Like,
yep. It's shocking. It's disturbing, also to like the like ratio on this stuff, because unfortunately his audience is younger and ill-informed and doesn't understand the severity of all of this. And I feel like that's a lot of social media stars and people, is that the fan base is usually younger and they can't grasp how gross and serious all this stuff is. And so everyone's just still has all the support for him and want to see him succeid, when he kind of reminds me of like not be around anymore.
Okay. It sounds like way more sus when you say it like that. You're like, take him out, gotta go. But no, it kind of reminds me of fucking Nikita Dragon, you guys. Like every single time I see Nikita on my For You page on TikTok, I have to immediately like, you can click on the TikTok and be like, not interested. Like that's what I do when I see Nikita on my For You page, because she also, I feel like it's just another person that, in my opinion, and also who the hell am I to be like, oh, you don't deserve a platform, but I don't think she does. I feel like people like that just have such a horrible way of like influencing other people. They're just so like greedy, in my opinion.
I just think and I hate to lump them all together, but there are very few that are standing out to me as like positive, good people. It's just like, I feel like that whole beauty community, the beauty gurus and whatnot, like there's just been too much shit that's happened in the last few years that it's just like, I can't really think of anything positive to come in the last few years from really any of those people involved within that group.
I agree.
I will correct you. Bretman Rock is the only thing positive that has come from the beauty community, because he started there, but I feel like he's no longer there. And honestly,
he's evolved.
I want to see him thrive so much, you guys. Like that is the one kind of influencer that I'm like, wow, like I'm proud of you.
And I will say, like, I don't know. I know she was involved in this whole scandal and people don't really like her, but I personally really always liked Tati. And I know that she had like a lot of like negativity. She took a full year off of YouTube. Now she's back. And
you saying that reminds me like, okay, Tati did that whole like she took a year off, I feel like she obviously is older. She has a different perspective on these kinds of things. I feel like everyone should have like taken a note out of her book and taken a little bit more time off, in my opinion, especially if you're going to come back full-fledged and be like, okay, I'm back at work. Like nothing ever happened. And like take some more time off.
Yeah. And in her video, like she was still running her beauty company. Like she was still doing everything behind the scenes. She just wasn't publicizing it, which I think is like the important thing to realize, is that like, and I listened to the BFFs podcast because they had Jeffree Star, and like, obviously I know a lot of people hate him. He's not my favorite person either, but I was honestly just listening to it because I was interested to hear what he had to say. And he talked a lot about it too. Like he was like, I took some time off, but he was like, I was still working, I was still hustling, like making money. And I think that's like an important thing, is that like for a lot of these beauty influencers, they have other like streams of revenue. They have other ways that they can make their money besides just like publicizing stuff online. Yeah,
there's no way they have these lifestyles by just having a YouTube personality. Right. Like they've also got other shit going on.
Also, like it's just like the reality with social media is that it just seems very like flippant, inauthentic, and fake, honestly. And like these are very
wrong sometimes.
Yeah, it's like very serious, drastic situations. I mean, I feel even like just gross putting on like a face for if I'm filming a YouTube video or posting a photo on Instagram, knowing that like I personally feel like shit about myself. It's just like, and I don't even have like a fraction of the following that these people do. So I can only imagine like what goes through their head. It's just like, I just don't.
Yeah. Like what?
I don't get how you look yourself in the mirror and put something like that up and like, and just act like it's.
Yeah, like James coming back after literally being called a pedophile and being like, hey guys, what's up? Hey sisters!
Yep. He's like, actually, you guys were wrong. And I did nothing wrong of the sort.
Actually,
I just here's how I do my concealer. Like,
yeah, actually, I just have a type.
Yeah, like he's blaming this on like his preferences. I'm like, so you're solidifying what everybody's saying, that you have ill intentions. Let's just say that. Dude, it's really fucked up. And it's honestly like, even in the sense of like Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star and stuff, like I was a big fan. I followed the whole I had the conspiracy palette. Like I was really invested in that. And I wasn't a fan of like Shane Dawson, like in the original years or whatever. It was more so just in like the more recent years. And now I can't even bear to like watch a video that I once loved of his, because it's just seeing everything that's like come up and been like, look at what he's done and how creepy he's been and weird. And it's sad because I was like, you know what, maybe that stuff just all put together looks bad and the internet was different. And I'm like, no, I can't look at it anymore. I can't act like I condone it. I can't act like I support it. And it's all really sad, but it's the reality of it. It's better for it to be known and for me to not support it rather than just, taking a blind eye to it or whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of more YouTubers, were you guys ever a fan of Gabbie Hanna?
No, and I will say that so many times because I genuinely do not like her. And I hate to say that about someone that I really never watched before, but from what I have watched, I just don't think she's another example of someone that I just don't support. Like, I just don't think she's using her platform for good. I feel like it's just very clickbaity. She's doing it for shock value, obviously.
Like,
and
something.
Dude, I've been like on an emotional roller coaster with this because I was a huge Gabbie Hanna fan. I genuinely liked her music. I liked her videos. I liked her content. And it's this whole like last series, like, I don't know. I genuinely did think, because like, I'm going to be honest, again, it's like not in like the old years of like the big dramas of like, Jessie Smiles and all that. I don't even know who that is, like all that kind of stuff. But like, just for her, I'm like, it kind of does seem like she's misunderstood. Not going to lie, like just based on her like YouTube content, I'm like, she doesn't bring up drama or talk about drama. She barely responds to it. And so I was like, it was really on her side. And with all of this, her last series she's doing, and she put out the first video and she's like, I made a bunch of these videos as like a form of therapy, and I'm going to be leaving YouTube and just focusing on music. But this is like my last whatever. I just want to say it. I don't care what people think about it. I just need to get off my chest. And I was like, you know what? Good for you, Gabbie. Like, stand your ground, like just say what you need to say. And she said, like, even if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But she's like, I'm not this self-proclaimed, like, good moral person, all this stuff. I don't know. I was just like taking it for what it is. And as the series kind of went on, I was like, Gabbie, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. Like at first I was like, yeah, you're expressing your opinions. You're like talking about, things that you felt in like, a sincere way. And then it just became like it just seems like more drama. And I'm like, is this the way you want to go? Is this the way you want to leave? And so it's like, it's like that meme. It was like, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Like I was rooting for her. Yeah. And she's kind of digging herself in a hole. And it's unfortunate because I do think the way I like her music. Like I said, I think she has a good voice. I think she could have had a really successful music career if she had done some things differently.
1,000%. 1,000%. You have a point there. But my thing is at that point, she started to remind me a lot of Trisha in the sense that they would literally say anything for shock value and anything for clout. And I feel like she kind of caught on. Trisha, I mean, like as fucking crazy as she is sometimes, she's still making money. Everyone's still talking about her. Yeah. Like, and
that's like a big thing that Gabbie said, because in the past like few months, I think it's been like Gabbie's been really weird on social media, like very absurd. And she addressed that. She was like, you know what? I just did it to see what it was like, to see the publicity of it. And she was like, it was kind of like a social experiment. Like everyone was saying it was crazy. So she was like, so I fit the bill. I played the part. And she's like, I don't want to do that anymore. And that's why I want to leave YouTube. And I was like, you know what? Respect for that. Mm-hmm. But now just seeing how it's kind of playing out, like, I don't really know, girl. But I don't know. I mean, nonetheless, it's all just forms of entertainment to me. Exactly. So like, no sweat off my back, but it's very weird.
Ooh. trying to think what else we could chat about.
Well, what else did you guys write? You saw Ariana Grande.
These are
BetterHelp.
These are Hannah's, but I'm
so one thing that is impacting me, along with obviously a lot of other people, is that Ariana Grande partnered with BetterHelp to give $1 million worth in free therapy, which I think is absolutely fantastic and something that I've never seen been done before. And I hope, to see more of this in the future. I have always been really open about therapy. I started going to therapy when I was 16. Unfortunately, I have had a lot of issues with healthcare and insurance, as have a lot of people in this country. And, I've always had health insurance, don't get me wrong, but there have been times where literally almost nothing has been covered, to the point to where it's like, I'm like, I don't even know why I have this. Like, it's not doing me any good. My parents are a lot older, which I think a lot of people know. And my dad retired when I was still in high school. So, unfortunately, my dad wasn't getting health insurance coverage or healthcare coverage from any job or anything. And so therefore it affected like my family as a whole with like what we could afford. And I saw a drastic change in what I could afford personally in terms of like mental and physical care. And everyone knows this, but I went through a breakup a few months ago and decided that I wanted to go back to therapy. And honestly, like, I'm an adult and I didn't want to rely on my parents to pay for it like they did when I was in high school, but that unfortunately like left me very limited. Like, I literally could not find really a single therapist that I could afford. And I was so limited with the therapists that were covered under my health insurance. It was literally so frustrating. Like, I just remember like calling my parents crying and just being like, I want to get help, but I literally cannot afford it. And that's like everyone's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And I feel bad like complaining about this because I am very fortunate. Like, I live in an apartment, I pay my own rent, I have a job, like I have a roof over my head. It's like, this is like a small aspect to it, but it's like,
nonetheless, I mean, healthcare is, no matter like what your means are. I mean, you're a young girl, like out of like kind of right out of college, like with your own job, like you have normal expenses, and like, healthcare is pretty shitty a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I feel so like mental health and therapy is not prioritized.
It's so shitty. And it just, and it like literally frustrated me, like honestly, more than the issues that were sending me to therapy in itself. And it's like,
Jesus,
like, quite honestly, like I was getting so frustrated and discouraged. Like, it ultimately led to me not really being able to find help. And then I was able to find like a few therapists that were covered under my health insurance. And granted, when I called my healthcare provider, the rates that they gave me were very affordable. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. But then it came to the issue of not being able to find any doctors in my network. So it was basically pointless.
Yeah.
And then when I did find doctors within my network that fell under my plan, they all had a 3-month wait list. So I literally was like, I can't do this. Like, I was like, I gotta just figure it out on my own, as horrible as it is. And like, I've always struggled with my mental health for as long as I can remember, but like, I definitely don't have it as bad as like a lot of other people do, who unfortunately like deal with a lot more like suicidal tendencies and are, I used to take medication. I don't anymore, but people that are in dire need of literally getting this help. Like, I'm fortunate enough in the sense to where it was like, you know what, if I need to wait a few months, fine, I'll suck it up, I'll get through it and I'll be okay. But there are people that can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I heard about BetterHelp a lot, just honestly through like podcasts and YouTube videos. And I was a little bit weary.
And this podcast is sponsored by
I wish. I want us to work with them. I've like done research into it because this is like, clearly as I'm talking about this, you can tell how passionate.
I think we all could use it.
I mean, if you listen to past 50 episodes, like every 3 of them, like one of us is crying. So
you can like see how passionate I am about therapy and healthcare coverage. But No, so I've heard about BetterHelp a lot. I was a little bit weary about it because it's like, when you hear advertisements for something a lot, you're like, is it really that good? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't know if this is like worth the hype. But then I saw this Ariana partnership and it sparked my interest because I have been looking to go back to therapy. And so I signed up for it, and literally anyone that signs up with it gets 1 month free, and then your second month is 15% off, which
that's
saves
huge.
you a good bit of money.
I'm about to go sign up now.
And so the month, like, how many sessions is that? Is it like all that you need?
So I think it's actually really great. In theory, it's really great. I have my first session tomorrow. But basically within that month you get, I believe it's one live session a week, and it's all virtual, which I think is really great.
That's a lot.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think it's really great because you can literally do it regardless of where you are versus like traditional therapy where you have to like go in an office and actually like physically be there. Mm-hmm. So I can literally do it from like the comfort of like my own apartment. You fill out this huge like questionnaire, which is pretty extensive, but I think that it should be, because then they go through this whole process of matching you with a therapist that specializes in specifically what you're looking for. So like me, for example, I have like major issues with my anxiety and like some depression and just honestly with like the way that I feel about myself. So that was like really what I specified. And then they match you with a therapist within, I'd say like 2 to 3 days, and they give you this whole like profile about who the therapist is and what they're about. You can specify if you want like a female or a male. And just me personally talking about like my own issues, I knew I wanted that to be with another woman. But like obviously to each their own. And then you can choose to like go with the therapist that they recommend, or sort of like refill out the questionnaire and then get matched with someone else. So then from there, they set you up and you have like one session a week that's included in your plan. That's a video conference. It's an hour, but it also gives you like unlimited messaging. So like if I want to just ask my therapist a quick question, or if I'm in a situation where I feel really anxious and it's like I just need to get something off my chest, I can send her a message and she'll respond within like a few hours, which I think is really nice. So it's kind of like having this at your disposal, honestly, for you to use it however you seem fit. And yeah, I really hope it works out, because I was like, this is coming at a point in my life where I feel like I really needed it. Like I roughed it out for 4 months and I was like, thank you, Ariana Grande. I love you. Like literally thank you. And I was like, oh my God.
Ariana Grande saves the day.
If you want to try it, if you listening to this want to try it, now is the time to do it. And
we can't offer you any discount codes or anything, but we
just a recommendation. That's it.
Yeah. And she's not making any money off of it at all, which I think is really, really amazing. Like she's just doing this all.
What a queen.
Out of the kindness of her heart. And I'm here for it. So I hope it goes
Ariana. Well. I see that. Ooh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna. Okay, so I haven't watched this new season of Love Island because I don't think it's been released in the US yet. And I know that Hannah is notorious for buying a VPN, but I wanted to talk about Too Hot to Handle really quickly. Have you guys watched it?
No, I can't stand these shows.
Trash.
Well, no, they're horrible. They're so bad. Like while you're watching it, dude, I don't even enjoy them. Except it's just like a mindless kind of. I just tune out for a little bit. And I personally really love the show. And Hannah, did you finish the season?
That's the thing. I look, everyone knows I am a hoe for some trashy reality TV. I thrive off of it. Like I look forward to this kind of stuff more than I do. I can't even tell you the last time I watched like a scripted show. I pretty much only watch reality TV. I love it. And so I kind of liked Too Hot to Handle. I think it was a bigger to-do when the first season came out because we were all stuck in quarantine. It was peak COVID and we literally were just like looking for like new content, and this new like reality show came out. I literally could not finish the season. Like it's just like the first 4 episodes that they released at once were pretty good. then it was just like the last 5. I was like, for the love of Christ, like you literally could wrap it up in about like maybe 2 more episodes after that. Like they did not need 9 episodes in the season. I couldn't even get through it.
1,000%. They don't need, honestly, they don't need to keep making the show, in my opinion.
And look, no one is that horny. Like, I'm sorry, but you're not.
Seriously. Like, seriously, the way they make it sound, it's like they're like looking for water in a desert. And I'm like, you can keep your hands to yourself. There's a difference between just like being sexually liberated and then just being like just aggressively like
a bunch of like really aggressive sexual people. It's really weird to me.
There's one guy on the show, Amanda, listen to this. There's one guy on the show. And oh God, what was his name? He was blonde. And honestly, in my opinion, I didn't think he was that attractive. But when one of the girl contestants on the show had to break the news to him about how you can't have sex in the villa.
It was that British guy.
Oh, I saw a TikTok and he was like, what? Are you joking?
If you watch the actual entire episode, he's actually flipping his shit the entire time.
No, because he had no idea what the show was. Like, I guess he was living under a fucking rock within this past year and had never heard of it, did not understand the pretense of it. And he was like, wait, so you mean to tell me that we can't have sex? And like, look, I enjoy talking about sex and I enjoy being sexually liberated, but it's just like, I'm sorry. Jeez. If there was 100, if there like, okay. And granted, you know, I'm sure when you're in the moment, it's pretty fucking difficult.
If someone was offering me $100, but yeah, I could maintain myself.
Like it's $100,000. And like, I was listening to like a lot of like other pop culture podcasts that were talking about this season. And it's just honestly like just unexciting. Is that a word?
Can be.
Exciting?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Now it is.
It's just not as exciting as I feel like it should be because $100,000 is great and all, but when you're having to split it between 11 people, it doesn't make it as exciting. It's like they really don't care about the money because they're like, oh, I'm on a reality show that's very popular. I'm going to get a bag regardless. Like I'm going to come out of here and have brand deals and be an influencer now. So like, I don't care about this prize fund. And they just completely disregard the rules and just start pumping each other at like when they lock eyes. And I'm like, okay, so then what is the point of any of this?
You know, what's funny is I tried getting my roommates to watch the show with me, or at least one of them. And the second we started watching the show, she was like, I can't watch this. And I was like, literally, I look at the screen, I take it in for an hour and then I turn it off and that's it. But the end of the show, you guys, it seemed like, not to like spoil anything for anyone, because obviously they all get some sort of money. Actually, not all of them.
They gave it all to just one person this season.
The thing is with these kinds of shows is like, the thing is with these kinds of shows, Robert was told when he auditioned to be on some reality show, he was told that he was going on a show called Parties in Paradise, as was the rest of the cast. And when you think about Parties in Paradise, that's the show that they use for everything now because it's never been registered as a television show. No one knows what Parties in Paradise is. And so when we got there and they were like, oh, it's too hot to handle, he was like, I have no idea what this is. But it made me think back to, oh God, I don't know if we can talk about this. Maybe we can't. Never mind.
We can talk about anything.
Why? Well, I don't know, because it's not about us. It's because you remember Cara, the show that she auditioned for was Parties in So I was like, never mind.
That's not the same thing, but yeah.
Well, no. I know. But it's like, it's funny to me how they use the same kind of name for like any sort of reality show. Yeah. Because it's not a registered show. No one knows what it is. And it's kind of funny.
I've been watching Love Island too. And like, now
Love Island, I love. I can kick it
eat,
with
sleep,
Love
and
Island.
breathe this show, but honestly, it's disappointing me too because I'm like, first of all, none of the couples seem that into each other. There's no like, they're just kind of like meh, and then therefore I'm like meh, and like the guys are obviously always going to be attractive because who does not love a shirtless, beautiful English man? But it's just like even they look a little bit average, and I'm like, people are really reaching for it here. And then what really sent me was when the USA Love Island cast got announced. And I was like, damn, now you really picked some average motherfuckers. And I'm not trying to shame people, but it's just like,
the whole show is it's supposed to be a reality show. You want them to be looking, not to sound like an asshole, but
that's like the kicker is it's a reality show, but everyone watches it because literally none of these people on any of these shows ever look like just your average day person. But I guess maybe it should be more like that. Maybe that would help with like the way that we view ourselves and like body image. But I'm always going to be stuck with like we want them to look like Greek gods kind of mindset. So
I wonder if we're going to listen back to this episode and be like, damn, we should not have been like that shallow.
Well, we're like, you ugly motherfuckers, like, look at me right now. Like, what the fuck?
No, look at all three of us. Who are we to be like, I need the guys to be hotter?
That's the thing is that I think that I don't think I know I'm an attractive person, right? And like
Hannah stays hyping herself up
as she should.
As you should. I'm all for it. It's like once an episode now. Hannah's like, you know what? I know I'm a catch. I know I'm not.
No, but like I really do. Like I know it took me a long time to act, and like don't get me wrong. Like I am like I struggle with my insecurities like a lot more.
We all know.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I struggle with it a lot more than I voice, and it's a lot easier to just fake it till you make it, obviously, which is more so what I'm doing when I say this kind of stuff. But it's like, I know I'm attractive and I know I'm funny and a great time, but it's like, I would love to be on one of these shows, but I still know I'm not attractive to be on a show like that.
I disagree in my opinion.
I also think that it's just like, I actually would love to do it. Like I've thought about it.
Well, you never know until you try. So
no, I would like actually love to like just fill out the application and see like, could I get on the US version of Love Island?
Do it.
Trying to get on the UK version is like, I don't know, trying to like literally.
Well, don't you have to be from the UK or
it's not
somewhere
even that.
Near
it's
around?
Like that's not what I'm saying. It's so hard to get on the UK show because it's the biggest show that they have over there. The USA version is still in like its early years, so I feel like it's maybe a little bit easier to like.
I feel like the USA version of Love Island is like too hot to handle, in my opinion, in terms of like.
Right, but you got to go with the cards you're dealt. And until the day I move across the pond, I'm stuck with the Walmart version of Love Island. So
nice. I kind of wanted to ask you guys what you thought about David's return to social media, since we're talking about everyone back.
I couldn't remember if we talked about that or not. It was a little weird.
Caught me off guard, not gonna lie.
Like, yeah, and it was weird with the timing of like Frenemies ending and then him making his return. I don't know. I think that was just honestly just kind of cosmic timing. It feels weird because, you know, the whole situation that went down, I am not defending any kind of behavior, but it was like, you know, I don't know if I think that David is this horrible, awful, you know, person who made something happen. I think it was a really fucked up situation that nobody took accountability for, that nobody wanted to take seriously. And I feel like it was a really big learning lesson. I don't know, but then like, it's a sticky situation.
You know what I mean? I agree with you 1,000% because I still do follow David on Instagram, you know, like it is what it is. I just haven't, I didn't go through and unfollow everyone. Right. But, when I saw it, I was like, damn, people are like way less forgiving with him than other influencers that I have seen come back, and people will accept them back with like open arms. And I get it. Like maybe he's not everyone's cup of tea. I do. And I'm not, like you said, Amanda, excusing like everything that happened. But some people were like kind of ruthless when he came back. And I feel like, in my opinion, out of all the influencers that I have seen go down, his was kind of like the worst kind of fall I've seen in a while, because every sponsorship was ripped from him.
Big fall from grace, because he was kind of like he can do no wrong type guy. And it was all just fun and games until it wasn't.
So weird, right?
And like, I don't really keep up with the response on his videos. I don't read his comments. I don't really know the response. I just know like from my own opinion. I don't know. don't know what to think of it. So I'm not even going to make any statement about it. I think it's very interesting. I think I'm just going to have to see how it plays out, I guess, with this.
True. One more thing on my end. Did you guys see that Alex fucking Cooper got a $60 million deal with Spotify?
Yeah. And I think it's $60 million a year.
Oh, no, I thought it was 20 million over 3 years. You know, regardless, the bitch is set and she's done fabulously. And I wonder, commend her for this.
Feels. You know,
she probably feels like a fucking idiot.
Probably. I'm not no like shade or anything to
argument
Sophia,
about how they wanted to shop the podcast to other networks. But I guess Sophia wanted to get out before their contract was up, and Alex was more so like, maybe, but let's at least be loyal to Barstool, and then she did, I feel like, exactly what Sophia wanted to do all along. It's just the timing of it all was not lost on me, because I was like, damn, this bitch a year ago was like really pushing for this one.
Yeah, I don't really remember all the inner workings of it. I thought it was just that she just wanted more compensation and like it just wasn't going her way, so she kind of just like quit. But like, to me, this is just like when you act selfishly in like situations like this and you're just thinking of yourself and maybe what, at the time I think her boyfriend was putting a lot of ideas in her head, like it comes back to you and it bites you in the ass. And like, she could have kept doing a really successful podcast with her best friend, but instead she had to go and ruin it.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you on that. On that, and with that whole situation, I do think that she was at a big fault. At like both of them were like guilty of their own issues, but I think Sophia kind of like screwed up with all of that.
Whatever their issues were, I mean, when you're working with something that becomes like a really big legitimate business, like Call Her Daddy did, like, yeah, you're going to have to go back and reevaluate your contracts, reevaluate who does what, reevaluate everything, because that's what happens when businesses grow and things get bigger than you ever imagined. But that doesn't mean sabotage everything. And that's exactly what she did. So it's like, well, then you did this to yourself. I don't know what to say.
Crazy ride though, that they started at Barstool of all places, and she got picked up by Spotify, one of the biggest streaming networks like in the world.
Yeah.
Do you guys
good for her, honestly.
Do you guys ever listen to or watch the BFFs podcast?
Mm-mm. I don't. Well, I literally watch absolutely nothing when it comes to Barstool or any of that.
What is the BFFs podcast? I thought that was frenemies.
Josh Richards and David Portnoy.
Yeah.
And honestly, literally, I just find it comical. So I watch it, and they always have like really good guests, because it's like Josh Richards, and I feel like he has all these connections. So they always manage to get a guest on right in like the heat of all this drama, which is great for them because it makes a ton of people watch it and listen to it. But it's just so entertaining.
Wait, refresh my memory. Is this the podcast that was like when the whole I'm trying to remember where she goes, Josh made out with Nessa last night. Yeah.
No, that was on Call Her Daddy. That was with Alex.
Oh my God, that was on Call Her Daddy.
But the BFFs podcast is, she was getting interviewed by Alex.
Oh,
and then the BFFs is Josh and Dave Portnoy, like Hannah said, and they do their own little thing. And Brianna Chicken Fried is on it, I think, sometimes too.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She's like the other. It's like the three of them host it.
Which
together.
The only kind of clips and stuff I've seen, it always seems like they're literally not listening to anything she says. It sounds like they're always cutting her off, and they don't give a shit that she's even there. But I don't really watch it. I just see like clips. But
they brought her in like. She was not with them from the beginning. I don't really know when they brought her in. I started listening to it like right when they came out, and then I stopped, and then I got like back into it as she got involved in it, and then they started bringing all these guests on, and I don't know. It's really entertaining. It's just like Dave Portnoy is like in his 40s, which isn't old, and he runs Barstool of all places, but he's so far removed.
He's a glorified frat boy. Like, let's be real.
And he's so far removed from the whole TikTok community that like he doesn't know half of these people's names. He can't pronounce any of their names correctly. And that is the funny part. Like the man's mispronunciation is unmatched. And I literally just listened to it and I'm like, this is amazing. Because he doesn't give a fuck. Like he does not care about anyone's opinions. And it's just so funny. Like I can't. So yeah, I've been watching that a lot recently, but he talked about it because they obviously asked him and he was like, well, what's your opinion on Alex? And he was like, honestly, like it's well deserved. Like he was like, if we could have given her the money, we would have, but
that's a nice response. So, I was expecting you to say something like kind of ugly, if I'm being honest.
No, like he was like, she's killed it. Like she's made the whole situation that happened with Sophia turn in her benefit, obviously, and blew up even more from it. So he was like, you know, it was time for something like that to happen. So,
because I will say, as much as like I'll criticize him and I think he's cringy and kind of like weird and gross, he's a great businessman. He's clearly made a very good business out of all of this. So like, yeah, I feel like that's an appropriate response to like someone like you worked with, you know.
So Shayla, did you watch this is like the last story that I have, which honestly is like so comical to me. I cannot, when I was reading this headline, I was like, this cannot be a real story. So did you watch the Friends reunion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like multiple times actually.
Yeah. So, Amanda, did you? I don't know if you're a fan of Friends.
Yeah, I am. I just didn't watch it.
So, you know, Ross had that monkey, Marcel, and when, what's that guy's name? The guy that was interviewing them that does like James
Corden. Yeah.
Yes. James Corden was interviewing them for like a sit down portion of the reunion. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions was, is there anything that you didn't like about being on the show? And David Schwimmer responded and said that it was the monkey, that he didn't enjoy being around the monkey, didn't like it. They were really hard to work with. Well, today I'm, just scrolling through and the animal trainer clapped back to David Schwimmer and was like, I find it despicable for him to still be speaking ill of her, talking about David Schwimmer speaking about the monkey. And there's this whole article.
Tell me this is real. You're telling me right now this is a legit thing you're reading.
Oh my God.
The animal trainer that trained this fucking monkey on the set is beefing, saying like, I find it despicable for him to still be speaking ill of her. And he was like, he's low-key shitting all over everything that she did for the show. I find his remarks childish, and I find him honestly to be jealous.
Okay, anyone who has watched the show Friends.
He's jealous of the monkey. Is that what she's saying?
Yeah. She's lost her marbles. Genuinely. It was a monkey on the show that was there for like 5 minutes each episode. Like,
oh my God.
That's not even the point. It's the point that someone was so pressed about this man's remark that they decided to clap back. And
he also wasn't rude about talking about the monkey. He was just like, I just wasn't comfortable with a monkey sitting on my shoulder eating its bugs.
The monkey was like,
dude, I'm not gonna lie,
shitting on him. And like,
monkeys freak me the fuck out. I'm so sorry. They're the scariest things to me. I hate them.
Yeah. And like, I don't know.
Cancel me.
Like when you are an actor and I guess when you're having to deal with an animal, it can be frustrating because you're obviously having to wait for the animal to like make its marks and its cues and stuff. And that's kind of what David Schwimmer was talking about. But I don't know, man, this animal trainer is so far up this monkey's asshole, apparently, that he or she, it doesn't really identify if the animal trainer is a male or a female, seems to think that the monkey that was in this show was the true star of Friends. So,
Marcel carried the show is what you're telling me.
Apparently carried the show.
No, I thought you were going to say something. Genuinely, Hannah, I did not expect you to say anything about the monkey. I thought you were going to be like, oh, did you see like, oh, Ross and Rachel like had an off-screen romance kind of thing. And I was like, oh, yeah, not the fucking monkey.
I find it just so entertaining when like people get pressed about the most like irrelevant and like weirdest things. Like I'm like, this was years ago. Like
I kind of hope David Schwimmer like claps back and they have like a little,
Yeah, like I want them to keep beefing. I want them to keep beefing about the money. Give the monkey a voice. How does the monkey feel? Who is this animal trainer to be speaking for the monkey? So it's 2021. It's 2021.
It's absolutely fucking absurd. It's insane.
And on that note,
that's our show, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this fun-filled episode of pop culture and then some. And then some.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it, folks. Catch you on the flip side.
Toodle-a-froo.
Bye, guys.